A major Marvel character is getting killed off. She's not major.
The following is a world-class Bullshitters exclusive.
It was just announced that Marvel was killing off its most famous superhero. I can't lie. Marvel announced that it was killing off Miss Marvel, the hero the internet loves to talk about, but no one actually likes. Miss Marvel, not that version, this version that's been around for about a decade too long. In the pages of the upcoming Amazing Spider-Man, Kamala Khan bites the dust, but the real story is how fans are reacting. The death of Kamala Khan has people talking, but why are they celebrating? Well, a simple Google search will show you that Kamala Khan is one of the most hated comic book characters in history. The reasons are numerous. Her debut issue was lackluster. Traditionally, classic debut stories are self-contained, compelling introductions that often have a very good explanation for how they wound up with their powers. In contrast, her debut story was a casual slice of life that ends with her seemingly, that is by comparison, just being handed her powers. This led to her getting off on the wrong foot with a lot of older readers who the title needed to bring in. Marvel followed it up by putting her front and center in various storylines that were frequently controversial, and so she started taking heat by association. Marvel insisted on giving her the kind of push generally reserved for older characters, with proven fan cadres, giving her a manufactured feel that leads to annoyed fans and retailers alike asking Marvel to take it down a notch. Only for Marvel to essentially give these people the middle finger. If she had received a well-written debut issue, handled it in a far more competent fashion, and given a chance to grow on her own, she would have likely gained the level of popularity that Marvel wanted for her. Instead, folks are getting tired of her, and the exhaustion is leading to anger. Nah, forget all that. The press blames racist, sexist trolls, so that must be the real issue, right? Comic books are one of the battlegrounds in this culture war. People who don't like these terrible characters are often called terrible things. It gets ugly. Just yesterday, we were blocked on Twitter after someone questioned why Miss Marvel wasn't front and center of her own death issue. We responded with, because it's a Spider-Man comic, and the rest is history. Only a certain type of person likes Miss Marvel, and that's a very vocal minority. Her poor sales have led to numerous relaunches and failed number ones. These people who write for comic book websites like her, but the fans don't. Posts keep popping up online about how angry fans are over the death of Miss Marvel, but they're not. Fans are happy to see this Stretch Armstrong ripoff bite the bullet, but the virtuous journalists are lying to change the narrative. Miss Marvel fans are angry with Marvel, believing the publisher may be exploiting sexist and racist stereotypes following the announcement of the fan-favorite hero that will die in the upcoming issue of Spider-Man. News of Kamala Khan's impending death leaked online the morning of May 16th and was verified by Marvel and Entertainment Weekly later in the day. While many readers find themselves nonplussed by the news, reiterating that comic book characters die and come back with regularity, others have expressed anger and frustration. This sizable contingent of fans, you're being very generous there, have been accusing the publisher and creators of fridging Miss Marvel in order to progress Peter Parker's story. Key point they focus on is that Kamala Khan has only been a supporting character in The Amazing Spider-Man for a short period of time. That means nothing. And on Twitter, this is what they're saying. A white male American comic book writer has killed off a brown female Muslim character in a white character-centered comic book for no real good reason, outside of a fridge trope. He killed Miss Marvel Kamala Khan to motivate Peter Parker's Spider-Man. What the fuck did I just read? It gets worse. A teenage Muslim woman killed by a crazed Jewish male villain for the advancement of a book starring a cishet... What is that word? White male in his 30s, and is the climax for one of said book's most divisive stories in living memory. Why? Again, these people sound racist. Jewish, Muslim, white, cishet, whatever the fuck that is. It's Spider-Man. Another one, from Adrian BLM, says, killing off Miss Marvel, a Muslim girl, is both sexist and racist, as well as the fact that she's dying in the title of a character she's unrelated to having. What the? I had to stop that. How is this racist and sexist? A character dies. People die. Muslim people, Muslim Pakistani people, white people, black people. Everyone dies. How is this sexist or racially motivated? Men and women die. I guess science says that women live longer, but, you know, women are also part of accidents and stuff, and Miss Marvel's dead. Fucking deal with it. This one might be my favorite. So I've been angry for most of the day over the leak from number 26 of Amazing Spider-Man because of the fridging of Miss Marvel, but this broke the camel's back, and now I'm furious. Where the fuck are her family, the champions, her friends? Why is Peter, Steve, and Ben there? They have no... And it just ends there. Well, Jamie Talks Nerdy Shite, if you're angry all day about a comic book character dying, you might need to reassess your values, because that's a you problem, not a them problem. Also, the reason why it's not Kamala Khan's family, Tony Khan, Zahid Khan, the rest of the champions, and all the other bullshit is because they want this book to sell. So you put Spider-Man, Captain America, Iron Man, Wolverine, and the Thing on the cover to get people to buy the book because they like those characters. Also, there's another Death of Captain Marvel from way back in the day that doesn't just feature him, it features other Marvel characters. That's kind of how comic books work. But again, please tell me how big of a fan you are by telling me you're not a fan at all. Despite Miss Marvel's likely quick resurrection, fans are still angered by her death due to how and why it's happening. The term women in refrigerators, also known as fridging, was coined by the writer Gail Simone in 1999. And that's all we're going to talk about her on this channel because that lady is garbage. A multitude of comic movies and other areas of pop culture have included instances of fridging, both before and after Simone. You know what? We're not going to talk about that because if someone close to a character dies, that's motivation. They want to quote Gwen Stacy being fridged for motivating Peter Parker, but the whole motivation, the sole motivation that Peter Parker has for being Spider-Man is the death of Uncle Ben, an old white guy. Apparently, these terrible racist people think old white people are just expendable. They're not. They're somebody to everybody. So let's just stop the bullshit. Fans have taken issue with Miss Marvel's death for several reasons beyond the perceived fridging. Not only is she being killed in someone else's book, which means fucking nothing, stop that point. One where her presence has been minimal. She's also a hero representative of people who have historically been underrepresented in pop culture. Kamala Khan is a Pakistani American and is the first Muslim character to headline her own Marvel comic. Well, let's look at how many Pakistani Americans there are versus how many other races there are, and you'll see why it's taken so long to get these books. And when you get them, people aren't buying them. Maybe you should realize that people don't look at the race of these characters, but the motivations and the actions of these characters, and that's why they support them. While she will most likely return in the near future, the current Amazing Spider-Man storyline has revolved around the question, what did Peter do? Meaning the death of a POC character is being used as motivation for a white male character, an unfortunate long-lived trope in fiction. You people aren't as smart as you think. Other people on Twitter have pointed out the issue's release date, adding to the previously discussed issue noting that ASM 26 will arrive during Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Fans question the decision to publish this story during a time that's meant to support, recognize, and celebrate Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, America's contribution and impact to America. What the fuck? Okay, so you can't kill off her during June? What about Pride Month? What about this and what about that? Like, you can't do these things to characters because some fake month on the internet was created and now we have to stop what we're doing? I don't like modern Marvel, but they are in a losing situation, and I kind of feel bad for them, but wait a little longer to hear what I actually think. On Twitter, this is another great one. Them killing off Miss Marvel is just so fucking awful on so many layers, like... And that's how the sentence ends. Proudly announcing this on AAPI month, doing it in an Amazing Spider-Man of all places, killing off a teen girl for shock value, the possibilities of the powers of change. Wow, how do you mess up this badly? It really isn't messed up, and why do people keep complaining that it's in a different book? Marvel want people to read these comics. People like you don't buy these books. But this might take the cake. I'm sorry, but I can't think of any other explanation for this other than sexism and racism. You decide to fridge Kamala Khan outside of her own book during AAPI month and angered Spider-Man and Miss Marvel fans even further in the process. Alright, let me stop you right there. I'm a Spider-Man fan. I'm going to pull this card too. I'm a bigger Spider-Man fan than this person on Twitter, the writer, and most people that are going to find this content. Go back into the archives and hear me talk about Spider-Man. But my love of Spider-Man made me want to be a comic book artist, which I am today. And you know what? I'm happy that Miss Marvel's dead. I'm happy that John Romita Jr.'s back drawing Spider-Man 2, but no one's writing articles about that, are they? They just mentioned his name in the byline. While Marvel has not addressed fans' complaints, Spider-Man editor Nick Lowe has tweeted the hopes of reading the actual book will change your mind in response to one of the reader's takes on the issues. I apologize for my lack of tact, but these people suck. If you ever wonder why modern comic books suck, it's because modern people suck. I won't call them fans, because they're not. They think they're comic book scholars. They read way too much into these things. They treat them as political soapboxes for issues unrelated to the stories, and they make it about race, gender, and other issues. And like I said earlier, don't even get me started on Gail Simone. That's a topic for never. These people aren't into comics. They're into trendy pop culture that's actually pure trash that few people read. People on Twitter don't buy anything. They aren't worth marketing dollars. They sit around and get riled up apparently all day long about something popular to show how righteous they are. They need a righteous ass whooping. Verbally, of course. Obviously, Miss Marvel is coming back because most comic book characters do. No one's ever really gone. Marvel should note who is actually complaining versus who is celebrating her death. Not that will help because Marvel is full of Twitter people. It's a collection of shitty writers, stupid editors, and useless people who force artists to draw crap. I'm glad those guys are at least collecting a check from this garbage, because they have to be compensated in some way. Any article or video you come across on why fans are so angry about the death of Miss Marvel is a flat-out lie. Those aren't fans complaining, those are articles about the writer's personal politics and personal views. They claim it's fans, but it's just suggested talking points by a certain cadre of people. After years of catering to this group, Marvel is finally getting pushback from the monster they created, and I'm not talking about The Thing. So folks, what do you think about this whole situation? Clearly you know my thoughts. Clearly these people aren't fans, and clearly they're not golfers. They don't understand what they're talking about. How is this racism to kill off a fictional character? It's not. It's not at all. It's stupid. Racism, sexism, all this shit, they're fictional characters, as they say in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Fictional characters. Am I getting through to you at all? Clearly not, because you're getting riled up and angered. I love comic books, but these aren't real people. Don't get offended on their behalf because they're lines drawn on paper, colored in a computer, and lettered by somebody that gets way underpaid. So don't even get me started on this garbage. These people act like they're so righteous. Oh, comic book fans, these characters, we gotta preserve their legacy. Why don't you fucking people go preserve the people that made these books what they are? If you wonder why modern comics suck, this is why modern comics suck. Yes, it's the writers, yes, it's the editors, but it's this stupid fan base, and yeah, I'm gonna call them stupid, that they try to cater to. Oh, it's racist and sexist to do a thing in a story. No, it's not. You can't be racist and sexist towards a fictional character because they're not real. Get over yourselves. That's the whole point. Your feelings, your emotions, your opinions are shit. They mean everything to you but nothing to everyone else. So why don't you realize that, get off Twitter, and go do something productive, instead of fuming all day long. They killed off Kamala Khan, I'm so angry. Okay, you're angry. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. You're going to bitch on Twitter. So, shut up, buy the book, don't buy the book. Here's the thing, if you don't buy the book, Miss Marvel, they're going to realize that she's not that popular. They can't even do something exciting like this to get people to buy the book. If Marvel was smart, they'd stop worrying about Kamala Khan, Carol Danvers, and these other forced characters that people do not like. It's not all sexism. Every thumbs down on the Marvels trailer isn't sexism. The low numbers for Miss Marvel aren't sexism. Sometimes a spade's a spade, and an unpopular character is just that, an unpopular character. And no matter how hard you try, no matter what you do, no matter where you go, you're not going to succeed in this. And Marvel, a multi-billion-dollar company with Disney behind them, cannot make this character work, and will not make this character work. So folks, I'm going to get out of here because she's going to die, and we got to celebrate. In reality, this is as much as we're going to think about the topic and move on to the next thing. So folks, join us tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the podcast. Join us on Tuesdays at 9 for the podcast live. And join us next time for more videos. But in the meantime, be smart, be safe, be cool, but always be excellent to each other. And that includes Miss Marvel fans. Be better than them. Your taste in pop culture already is.
Thanks for watching today's video. Yes, it's over, but don't cry because there's more, a lot more from World Class Bullshitters. And there's only one way to get it. Hit that subscribe button below. When you do that, you'll get notifications and updates from World Class Bullshitters every time we go live. Basically, you won't miss anything. And if there's one thing I hate, it's FOMO. But the thing most people hate more than FOMO is fear of missing out on World Class Bullshitters, because there's just some things you can't undo. So folks, do yourselves a favor and never miss anything from World Class Bullshitters. One last thing before you go, hit the thumbs up button. Not for our egos, no, they're big enough as this, but it does help us fight the algorithm here, and well, it's man versus machine, and that's the real fight. But if that's not your battle, that's okay. There's one last way you can help WCBS, and that's going over to shopwcbs.com, picking up a t-shirt, a beer glass, a sweatshirt, a poster, all sorts of ways to back WCBS. The difference between us and other YouTube channels is I'm the artist that makes all this stuff, so if you enjoy art beyond t-shirts, you can even read our comic books. We got it all. We're called the epitome of pop culture for a reason, and no, again, it's not for our egos. So folks, make sure you're involved with every aspect of World Class Bullshitters, not just for us, but do it for yourself. We're making the change in entertainment everybody out there wants to see. And a special thank you goes out to all of our wonderful patrons who make this content possible. Go to patreon.com/worldclassbs to get involved and help out the channel.